So I open the course to the branching of the road. When you come to a place where the branch in the road is quite apparent, you cannot go ahead. You must go either one way or the other. For now, if you go straight ahead, the way you went before you reached the branch, For now, if you go straight ahead, the way you went before you reached the branch, you will go nowhere. The whole purpose of coming this far was to decide which branch you will take now. The way you came no longer matters. It can no longer serve. No one who reaches this far can make the wrong decision, although he can delay. And there is no part of the journey that seems more hopeless and futile than standing where the road branches and not deciding on which way to go. It is but the first few steps along the right way that seem hard, for you have chosen, although you still may think you can go back and make the other choice. This is not so. A choice made with the power of heaven to uphold it cannot be undone. Your way is decided. There will be nothing you will not be told if you acknowledge this. And so you and your brother stand here in this holy place before the veil of sin that hangs between you and the face of Christ. Let it be lifted. Raise it together with your brother, for it is but a veil that stands between you. Either you or your brother alone will see it as a solid block, nor realize how thin the drapery that separates you now. Yet it's almost over in your awareness, and peace has reached you even here before the veil. Think what will happen after. The love of Christ will light your face and shine from it into a darkened world that needs the light. And from this holy place he will return with you, not leaving it nor you. You will become his messenger, returning him unto himself. Think of the loveliness that you will see who walk with him. And think how beautiful will you and your brother look to the other. How happy you will be to be together after such a long and lonely journey where you walked alone. The gates of heaven open now for you. Will you now open to the sorrowful? And none who looks upon the Christ in you but will rejoice. How beautiful the sight you saw beyond the veil, which you will bring to light the tired eyes of those as weary now as once you were. How thankful will they be to see you come among them, offering Christ's forgiveness to dispel their faith in sin. Every mistake you and your brother make, the other will gently have corrected. For in his sight, your loveliness is his salvation, which he will protect from harm. And you will be your brother's strong protector from everything that seems to rise between you both. So shall you walk the world with me, whose message has not yet been given everyone, for you are here to let it be received. God's offer still is open, yet it waits acceptance. From you who have accepted it, is it received. Into your hand, joined with your brothers, is it safely given, for you who share it have become its willing guardian and protector. That's beautiful. That's very interesting wording. You who share it have become its willing guardian and protector. So beautiful. Like it's not like a truth needs your guard or protection, but like you need to keep it so protected in your experience, so from the ego's wishes. To all who share the love of God, the grace is given to the givers of what they have received. And so they learn that it is theirs forever. All barriers disappear before their coming, as every obstacle was finally surmounted that seemed to rise and block their way before. This veil you and your brother lift together opens the way to truth to more than you. Those who would let illusions be lifted from their minds are this world's saviors, walking the world with their Redeemer and carrying his message of hope and freedom and release from suffering to everyone who needs a miracle to save him. How easy is it to offer this miracle to everyone? No one who has received it for himself could find it difficult, for by receiving it, he learned it was not given him alone. Such is the function of a holy relationship, to receive together and give as you received. Standing before the veil, it still seems difficult, but hold out your hand, join with your brothers, and touch this heavy-seeming block, and you will learn how easily your fingers slip through its nothingness. It is no solid wall, and only an illusion stands between you and your brother and the holy self you share together. Wow. This was Jesus' pick for the morning. I just opened it, Branching of the Road, chapter 22.
Chapter 22.
Part 4.
Yeah, it's interesting he got that, because I'd done a Canva design this morning, and it's that passage from the Bible. Enter through the narrow gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the road that leads to destruction, and many enter through it. But small is the gate and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few find it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, this is the explanation why, or how. Yeah, it is such an encouragement. Such an encouragement. It can be a very scary place to feel like you stand in the crossroad. And you may stay there for a long time without taking a step, but it's like he says, there is nothing so hard or futile or hopeless and futile to stand there and not decide. But yeah, so I'm a cheerleader for taking the step, because I know this is true. There is so much support once we take the step, right, Michelle? There's so much to receive. And it's true, this you're not taking it for yourself alone. You will become this messenger that he describes, because it's force of spirit coming through. It's like you cannot do anything else. You become this tool for the spirit, a messenger. Yeah, it's very beautiful. Easy. It's actually easy. And in our own limited minds, we may see obstacles as almost impossible to get through. Like wherever we turn, we are wrong or something. But that is from the limited mind's perspective. From Spirit's perspective, it is not like that. Mm-hmm. So once we dare to take a little step, we will actually see the obstacles fall to the wayside. That's why Jesus so easily said, even when he seemed to be a man in the world and walking earth, he said to people, leave everything behind and come with me. Like it was so easy for him to give that invitation because he knew there's no loss, there's no risks. It's just goodness.
So his message hasn't changed.
No, his message has not changed. And it's no difference. Like he's coming through now as Spirit, as the Holy Spirit. It's not needed as the man because he has many men and women here that where he's coming through. And the ones given are the where it's meant to be. Like, yeah, it's very beautifully arranged. The ego often makes up that it's difficult and sacrifice. And none of it is true. It is so happy. It's an interesting line on the page before. Only mistakes have different forms, and so they can deceive. You can change form because it is not true. It could not be reality because it can be changed. So anything in form.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's no mistakes, there's nothing
No,
of any relevance.
no,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. So only to follow the form that is more helpful is the way to go, to realize truth. Yeah, it is Jesus. Jesus is so grateful, so inviting into light, and that there is no risk, there is no loss, there is no one to hurt by taking a step. Just happiness, and where his message is true, to not look back or not look to the left or to the right. Keep your eyes on me, on Spirit. Let thine eye be single. Like those messages are very helpful. We don't need to look at the sorrow that the ego will present. That's what we're leaving behind. Yeah. Good stuff.
I feel Spirit wants it to be so light too.
Yeah,
Like,
it is.
so light. But the mind makes it so serious, right? And, look at that film last night even, so much anger in him and hurt, right?
And he needed to work through.
Worldliness.
Yeah.
So that's not light at all.
No, I can feel it when you work through it, but this is a relatively short time. And you see how easy it was for him once he had looked at it. The decision was so easy to go about a girl, to go for what his heart needed to do. It was just so easy. It was like the veil had lifted. It's like the most natural thing to do. But before he had faced his fear, he couldn't make that decision. It was too fearful. Yeah. The solid block he talks about, like either you or your brother alone will see it as a solid block, nor realize how thin the drapery that separates you now. So if you look at it alone, if you don't join, it will feel like a solid block. But in the joining, it's just a thin drapery. so easily.
Do you mean like the joining here, but also the joining all around you, I guess,
Yeah,
right?
the joining where there is a trust and there is a, like our connection, like that joining. Because that's a joining in spirit.
I really have a sense that Spirit just wants it to be so light, and that heaven is here right now. Do you know what I mean? And that is only joy and playfulness, really. What else would there be in heaven?
Yeah.
In
So
the mind.
Anytime anything is interpreted as something other than that, there is a key there. If a call with a bank, a call feels heavy, or any detail feels heavy, there is a key in that experience, because everything is supposed to be light.
Yeah.
So there is a misinterpretation of the situation happening. So give the situation over to Spirit, then the doors will open up. The lightness will be felt. Think of the loveliness that you will see who walk with Him.
Yeah. I thought I had a moment this morning, like a miracle. Like I had that thought, what you think you become, and what you feel you attract. And in that moment, it was like a bat appeared, actually. But Spirit has spoken to me through bats in the past, like in a dream I would have as a child, nightmare really, when these bats would get in my hair, and it was really horrible. And he's spoken to me before on these bats, and it was like just a moment where there was like I think I become this bat just appeared up on the mountain, but it was still quite dark, And I knew it was like Spirit going, yeah, that nightmare is over. That nightmare is over. That was a dream that you had as a child, recurring actually. Bats in my hair. I'm walking past a paint shop of all things, like pots of paint. It was in my place where I live. But it was like Spirit saying, that nightmare is over, there is only this happy thoughts, joyful thoughts, right? And I just knew in that moment that the Spirit, because I'm in communion, right? Because I love that word about creation is communion. It's like I'm speaking to God all the time, right? And He speaks to me. And it's just exquisitely delightful, really, isn't it? It's like the best when I'm there, right? When I'm there, and I can't never not be there. That's the realization, I guess, right? I never haven't not been there. It was just a dream, a nightmare, a separation.
That's it. Share your thoughts.
Disconnected, I suppose, feeling that I'm moving on, so I'm not fully present here.
Thinking of getting back.
Very much so, yeah. And a lot of fear around change and decision making.
You can stay.
I would feel like running away from what I have to do.
What is it that you have to do?
The sun to rear and earn a living.
Well, you can ask Spirit if you really need to do those things anymore. Give over both of those ideas to the Holy Spirit and ask. My my son became so happy when I left
Mm.
him. He was only 10. But
Mhm.
yeah. And there were times when there was other emotions too, but from my right mind, when I joined with him, he was so happy.
Mhm.
And he freed himself from very strong social anxiety that he had.
Mm.
Just disappeared.
Yeah.
So you can't interpret or think that you know what is best. You can think about it.
Mhm.
It's like you save yourself first. Like you
Mhm.
can't help anyone or anything unless you're saved. You know, like they always say on the airplane, you put your own mask on first. Otherwise, you can't help anyone.